welcome to my channel. My name is Brianne Beebe. I'm a high school math teacher and a teacher business owner and an organization freak. So today I wanted to answer one of the most common questions that I get asked personally, and that is, how do you organize your files? Now, if you were around for January, I did do an organized teacher challenge email series just on how to do this, but I wanted to basically take that information and put it up on YouTube just for anyone that needs it. I also have a blog post which you can go to in the link below, and I believe this summer I took the Organized Teacher Challenge and created a Facebook group out of it. So this summer, 1 month of challenges will be around how to organize your digital files. So if you need help with accountability, make sure you join that Facebook group, and that way you can be there when we are organizing our files. It's going to be basically walking you through these same steps, but sometimes people need like a push of some sort. And that's why I like to do the Facebook group as well as that email series. The email series is like one day at a time. We're doing everything. So it's like boom, boom, boom. It goes pretty quick. And then in the Facebook group, it's like drawn out over a month. So it's like there's a week to complete one task, and then we move on to another one. So it's like a little bit more relaxed. And of course, if you are a self-starter, then this is the video for you. Okay, so when I'm organizing my files, my first step is to purge, to delete any file that I no longer need. I did say the very same thing at the beginning of the email organization video. I'll link that down below too. But I have to admit, with my files, I purge a lot less. Like I save a lot of stuff. Because with files, it's kind of easy. It's out of sight, out of mind. But I'm going to explain about that in a moment. So you want to delete things that you have not used in a specific amount of time generally. I like to go through and delete anything that I used once and was like, nope, no good. Don't want to use that again. And I get rid of it that way. Now, it can be a little bit scary because once you delete a file, it is gone forever. It's really hard to get it back. So what you can do if you're not sure about deleting something is create like a purgatory folder where you move any of the items that you want to delete but aren't sure about. And you can give it some time to see if you touch any of those files, and if you don't, just delete the whole folder. A lot of people do this when they are purging out like their closets. They'll keep a box or a bin of clothes that they think they want to get rid of, but they want to make sure that they don't. And if they don't touch that box in 6 months or so, then they can get rid of everything that was in it. I wish I'd done that, because there was this one sweater vest I got rid of and there's no getting it back. So in terms of the things that I have kept, I still have stuff from student teaching. I still have materials from curricula that I no longer teach, and I just have them in their own folder, and it's basically in a folder where it is out of my way. It's not easy for me to find. Like, I shouldn't say it's not easy for me to find, but it's in a folder, in a folder, in a folder. So I have to be looking for it to stumble upon it, is what I mean to say. I can find it when I need it, but it's not something that's constantly in my way when I'm trying to find what I need today. I hope I explained that well. Don't get me wrong, I delete stuff, I just don't delete everything. So there are 2 reasons why we start by purging and getting rid of the files that we don't want to keep. The first one is that when you get rid of those, you'll have less to organize. The second is that it forces you to go through your files and just take note of what you have that you want to keep and maybe need to make a folder for, which brings us to step 2, which is to use folders. Folders are the foundation of your file organization. Think of folders as categories. So as you were purging some of your files, you may have noticed that you have a couple of files that are related. Put them in a folder together. Make sure you name it something that's like really obvious. Whatever the category is, that's what name you want to give your folder. So with folders, I love that you can put folders within folders. It's like having subcategories. So for example, in my flash drive for school or in my Google Drive, I have a folder labeled geometry. and it's all of my geometry stuff. So I like to have a folder for every unit for the current year. Then I have a folder for, I believe right now it's 2012 through 2020, and that is for every year that I've taught so far. So I have all the old stuff still saved, but it's really easy for me to find. And yes, I do go back and use old stuff for geometry all the time. So within that folder, I have like 2020 to 2013, 2013 to 2014. And if I open up those folders, it's all the same unit folders. I mean, different stuff in them, but it's all unit folders from what I taught that year. I do have 2 tricks when I name folders. One of them is to use numbers. So like I mentioned, I have unit folders within geometry. I put the number of the unit. So I'll have like 1- lines and angles, 2- transformations. If I had just put the name of the unit, then I would have a mess. Like lines and angles would be toward the middle, transformations would be toward the end. And I'm, you know, being a math teacher, very sequential thinker. So it's easy for me to have all my units numbered. For whatever reason, I do it a little bit differently in my Google Drive, and I have it like unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, but it's the same thing repeated, so they're still in numerical order. My second trick is to use all caps. That will draw your attention to certain folders. So when I open up my flash drive, that geometry folder, it is in all caps. I also teach pre-calculus and calculus. Their titles are in all caps because I go to those folders the most. I can't remember the other folders that are in there. I think I have like a back to school folder for stuff that I do with all of my classes for back to school. So it doesn't make sense to like file it into geometry or pre-calculus because I'd use it for both. So there's like a back to school folder. There is a folder that just has like my district name, and that's for a lot of different things that I'm holding on to just in case. Like I've been senior class advisor twice, so I've saved all of like the crazy like legal stuff that we have for like the senior trip and stuff in those folders. So if I ever needed like a permission slip, I have it from a previous year and I just have to update the stuff. So like that senior class folder is inside of my district folder. I coordinated for PBIS for a couple years. That's in the district folder as well. So different things like that where I don't want to get rid of those files because who knows, I would like to go back and work with PBIS again in the future. It's just bad timing right now. So I have that saved there. This is so off topic, but since I'm here, I resigned from doing like anything extra this school year. So like I've been a co-coordinator for PBIS for the past 2 years. I decided not to do it this year because of the pandemic. It was too much last year and I did not need any extra stress. Okay, so to recap so far, we got rid of what we didn't need, and then we took what we are keeping and put them into folders. Your folders are categories. Some of our folders have subfolders, so we have everything where it needs to be. And this can take you a while to get there. So don't feel like you have to do it all at once. You don't need to purge everything at once. You could go through it slowly. And as you organize one folder, you could be purging at the same time. It's okay. So then the next thing that we would want to talk about is naming your files. When you're naming your files, the key is to be consistent. I use interactive notebooks in my classes in a normal school year. So everything that is for interactive notebooks has the title INB in it. With my lessons that are inside of my unit folders, I have them numbered again so that it's in sequence with what I use. So for example, when I'm in my quadrilaterals unit, our first topic is parallelograms. So everything that starts with a 1 is from that parallelograms lesson. And for whatever reason, I did everything differently when it came to organizing my Google Drive as far as some of the names go. And for the different lessons, mainly because I was taking like one lesson and dragging it out over multiple days. That quadrilaterals lesson on parallelograms, the first day would be titled 4.1a. So it's unit 4, lesson 1, day A of that lesson. So everything that's going to my students in Google Classroom for that lesson had that 4.1a. When we got to the second day, everything was 4.1b. When we made it to our next lesson, it was 4.2, A, B, whatever. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You don't have to do it the way that I said to do it with the numbers and everything, but you want it to be something that makes sense. So what's really cool is if you are using Google Drive, you have some like additional options that you don't have in like say Dropbox or a flash drive or anything else. And I know that using online storage is highly, highly recommended. I like to have like multiple places just in case. I also am not a fan of how if I put something into my Google Drive, it tries to convert it into like Google Docs from Word, into slides from PowerPoint. Sometimes I want my PowerPoint to stay a PowerPoint, and that's when I would use Dropbox. I'm just putting that out there just because. For anyone that wants to know, and for all I know, I'm doing something wrong when I upload it. I know it could stay as a PowerPoint, but then you can't use it. It's just weird. So, in Google Drive, what you could do differently that you can't do in those other storage places is you can color code your folders. Now I'm thinking maybe you can in Dropbox. I don't remember. I honestly haven't touched Dropbox in a while. But you can color code your folders in Google Drive, which is really great. It makes it easier. I color code my classes, so geometry is a purple folder. So I see right away, geometry, it's purple. It's also in all caps. And then you can add stars to anything that you're working on or anything that's really important. So I have like my rosters I access every week. They're actually hanging out just in my Google Drive. They're the only thing in my drive. And that's something that I'd have starred because I need that every week to print out, and just anything else that's important. If you want easy access to it, you can right click and then go to the option that says add to starred, and then you can go to the starred menu and it pulls right up. To color code your folders, it's the same thing. You can right click on the folder and then the option to color it comes up. So like I said, when you're naming your files, you can use numbers to get them in a sequence. If you have something that's like really important and you want to see it first, and it's not something that starts with an A and it's not something that makes sense to put a number 1, you can put a symbol in the front of the file name, and that way it will come up first. Now it depends on the symbols. Symbols have like their own ranking order. I use the Octothorpe, which growing up it was called pound, but now it's called a hashtag. I use that sometimes for different files. I have this like adorable little like 4-pointed star that I use at Google Drive for like my scope and sequence, or no, I use it for my lesson plans. I use it for basically anything I want to appear first in a folder. Now I suspect that when people say that they need help organizing their files, that they have done some of these things before, but that they didn't keep up with it. So the key to staying organized is to come up with a system. When you have a system in place, it makes it so that you are naming your files the same way every time. You're putting them into folders the same way every time. So once you have a system devised, that is what will keep you organized. If you need help creating your own systems, I actually have a course dedicated to creating your own system as a teacher. It's called the Teacher Productivity Master Academy. It will be launching soon, so if you want to get on the waitlist for that, make sure you visit the link in my description box below. So if you got to the end of this video and what I shared did not resonate with you, or you're like, okay, I've tried that, it really does not work for me, for whatever reason, check out my friend Lisa. I will leave her information in the description box. She has a course dedicated to just organizing your files. Her course is called Organize Without Overwhelm. I have not taken her course, but I have attended her sessions at virtual conferences, and what she shared for files, honestly, and how to organize them, it's blown me away. I love what she shared, and I really love it as far as organizing my files for my teacher business. So definitely check her out. And the only other thing that I'd really add to this, I know a lot of people say like, oh, my desktop is a mess. Okay, well, we need to organize that. But I do hear you when you say that you save stuff to your desktop, because that's what I like to do. If I'm working on a project currently and I want it to be easily accessible to myself, I will save it onto my desktop. I will create a folder for it. And then once I'm finished, I will move it to wherever I want to save it, whether it's Google Drive or Dropbox or a flash drive. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but ultimately it doesn't matter where you're saving your files, whether it's Google Drive or Dropbox or a flash drive. all of these same things that I discussed, they will work across the board no matter where you're saving your stuff. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. Make sure you check out the description box because I mentioned a lot of resources in this video and they will all be linked right there. So as always, thanks for watching.